Hello my YouTube friends. Hope this video is finding you well and happy and your guitar playing is making good progress. After my 100th lesson that I gave the other day where I talked about transcribing, I had an awful lot of people write to me and leave comments and stuff saying how much they'd like me to give some tips about transcribing. So what this lesson is going to be is kind of tips for beginners. This is not advanced techniques. I'm probably going to do another video to go about how to work out solos and stuff like that and more complicated guitar parts. But to start off with, the first thing you need to know is I'm going to start delivering my song lessons, the easy songs that is, in a way that I talk about what the chords are for that song first in the wrong order. So I'll give you all of the chords for the song in the wrong order, then I'll stop and you should go away and try and work out the song by yourself and then come back and then I'll teach the rest of the song. So a lot of these things that I'm giving you are kind of tips in order to help you kind of realize the songs using this little step up. Because if you just have to start from scratch, there are a few other things that you have to think about, which I think are kind of difficult, you know, especially if you guys that have already been playing guitar a little bit but just haven't got into the transcribing. I think this is a good way for you to kind of get into it. So the first thing is, when you pick a song that you want to transcribe, the most important first stage is that you listen to it a whole bunch of times. So probably 10, 15 times in a row. Just stick your headphones on, really get absorbed into it. Try and really focus on the guitar, listen to when the chords are changing, what they sound like. Is there an acoustic guitar, an electric guitar? How many guitar parts are there? Can you hear more than one? There's a whole heap of different things to think about. Now most of the time we're in these kind of recommended beginner songs that I'm going to kind of give you tips for. They're going to be quite simple, straightforward chords, so you're mainly listening to the main chord part, sometimes kind of simplifying the part a little bit. If there's a little twiddly, you know, on one of the chords, then you can just play it straight and that's going to be fine. So listen is the first thing. Second thing is you need to be ready to write it down. Now the word transcribe, the scribe part is meaning to write. Now either it might be a good idea if you printed out some tab paper or some manuscript paper from my website in the resources section. The other thing that can be a really useful thing is to print out the lyrics to the song that you're about to transcribe. So just do a Google search or whatever, find the lyrics, print them out, and then as you transcribe the song, you write the chords above the right word. So if you're doing, you know, somewhere deep inside, you'd write that chord change above the inside over the S of inside. So it's kind of making it very clear for you where the chords change. So printing out a lyric sheet might be a good idea. Now the next thing, once you start, I'm going to tell you, so you know this song's got the chords C, A minor, E, G and F or something like that. I'll tell you what the chords are. You go through and you listen to the first chord. Now before the chord changes, you should stop. So listen to it, listen to the first chord, stop the CD or stop the track or press spacebar, which stops it in transcribe. Excuse me. Now the reason for this is that the last thing you hear stays in your ear. Now, it's funny, stupid little rhymes in the times, man, getting all hip here. But it's really true. The last thing that you hear, the last sound that you hear stays there. So you listen to the first chord, you press the space bar, press stop, pause, whatever, and then play the different chords and see if you can find the sound that is the sound that's still resonating in your ear. Hopefully you'll be able to get it. It might take 10 goes listening to it, like play, stop, work it out, no, I still haven't got it, play, stop, work it out. You know, when you first start transcribing, it's going to be really tough. Even if I'm giving you a hand and telling you what the chords are, it's still going to be very, very hard. To start off with, you might only get, say, 2 out of 10 chords right. But that's okay. The next time you'll probably get 3 out of 10 chords right, the next time 4 out of 10, etc. and it will grow. Now, I know it's really hard. All I can do is tell you about the benefits when you succeed. Once you've learned to transcribe, you can learn any song you like, whenever you like, without having to use dodgy internet tabs or buying books or whatever. All you need is the music. And that's a great thing. So if you always try and remember that while you're struggling and you're starting to get a bit pissed off and you're going, oh, I can't do it, I'm shit at guitar, you know, all of those kind of feelings, just remember that you've got to keep sticking at it, and when you get it, it'll be really cool. Now, I've had no students yet that can't transcribe, yeah? Some of them find it easier than others. That's dead normal, yeah? So occasionally you'll get a freaky guy who can just listen to stuff and play it, but that's very rare. Most of the time it takes a little bit of hard work, which is what you're going to do. So listening to the one chord at a time. So you find out the first chord. Let's say the first chord was C, and you go, right, yeah, okay, there was a C chord. You'd write down either above the lyric where the C was, or just on your blank paper there was a C. Then you listen to it again and wait for the second chord to come. So it's going do 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 do. Stop. As soon as it's done that second chord, stop it again. See if you could muck around, play through all of the different chords that it could be until you find the chord that sounds most like it, and that's going to be your chord. Then I'd go back to the beginning and play it again, and play along with the CD or the track or whatever. Play the second chord. Listen to it, make sure it was right. If it wasn't quite right, your ear will tell you, say something's not right here. Have another explore and see if you can figure it out. Then you'd listen to the third chord. So play it through, first chord, second chord, third chord, stop. And then after that third chord stopped, you muck around, you try and figure out what the third chord is. Now it's quite time consuming, this stuff, but the more you do it, the faster you get at it, to the point where you can just hear it and play it, But you have to go through these stages first before you can actually get there. You've got to start slow, and you've got to start with easy songs, which is quite important. So we just talked about write down as you go. Now, if you're really stuck on a chord, a really helpful little hint can be to listen to the bass note of the chord. Now, occasionally chords have a different bass note and root note. So let's say a C chord, usually the lowest note of a C chord will be the note C. So the root note, C, and the bass note, which in this case would be C, would be the same thing. But occasionally you get a chord with a different bass note. Sometimes it would be written, say in this case, C/E, which means it's a C chord with an E as the bass note. So you get that, but very, very rarely. Most of the time, especially for the songs I'm going to give you to start off with, the root note and the bass note will be the same thing. So if you're not sure of a chord, try and really listen out for the bass note. Does the bass note move up or down? Is it going do, 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 sound like that, like the bass note's going do, do, in which case you know it's lower. You could play this and then go do, do, where's that do? Oh, there it is. Oh, there's the note. Yeah, it takes a little while. I'm not going to bullshit to you. Transcribing is difficult to get started on, but once you get going, it's cool. The bass note thing is going to be quite something helpful. So every time when you're working out a song, it's very likely you're going to come across a little bit that you can't work out. Yeah, a really good first song to transcribe is called "Better Be Home Soon" by Crowded House. Which I'm probably going to do a lesson on shortly, maybe even in the next 10 minutes or something. One of the things that everyone struggles with in that song is the bridge. Now the bridge goes to a chord that's different to all of the other chords in the song. In fact, most bridges do. Now, if you get stuck on one little bit, just leave it and keep going. Don't kind of get stuck on this bit and stop and go, oh, I can't do it. Try and work your way through the rest of the song. If you get stuck, really properly stuck, the internet's there. Jump on the internet, go to chordy.com or whatever your favorite preferred chord finding search engine is. Have a look at the song, see if you can just look at that one little bit of the song and go, oh, it's that chord, it's a B flat, right, okay. And then go back and try and transcribe it. Don't rely on the internet chords, rely on your own ears, but if you get really stuck, those things can kind of be pretty helpful. Also remembering that you got to make sure you get yourself in tune. So before you start, make sure you tune your guitar up. Now there's quite a lot of songs that have kind of funny tunings and stuff, like they're tuned down a semitone or they're in a whole new tuning. As a beginner, that's something that you probably don't want to be concerning yourself with too much, because it's quite difficult. I'll do another lesson on how to deal with those things later on. And that's it. I'm going to do an advanced transcribing later on, so like in a few months probably, when I start doing the blues course that I've got planned. Ooh, letting all my secrets out. Okay, so have a go. If you're after some immediate ones and I haven't got the songs up with the song tips yet, remember on my website when you go to transcribe, there is an area called Song Tips 1, which gives you a list of like 20 odd kind of pop rock songs, and it tells you what the chords are, sometimes in a kind of semi-right order, but just have a go at using that as a pickup to try and figure out what those songs are. It really makes a big difference for you if you can learn to transcribe. I really can't rate this highly enough. This is, for me, in my opinion, this is the biggest thing that's missing in you youngsters today that are learning all your stuff from the internet. It's a really, really good idea if you try and transcribe a lot. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you again soon. Take care, ladies. Bye.